Good afternoon and welcome to today's breakout session, Stories from Entrepreneur Support Organizations, ESOs, on accessing federal funding. My name is Eldon Hawks. I'm the Partnership and Innovation Specialist in the Office of Investment and Innovation with the Small Business Innovation. In this session, we're going to learn what SBA programs are available to ESOs, including the Regional Innovation Clusters, the Federal and State Technology Partnership Program, and the Growth Accelerator Fund Program. We have a great lineup today, and starting with Keshla, please introduce yourself, your organization, and its mission.
Good afternoon. My name is Keisha Tirado. I am the director of the Center for Innovation and Technology of the Puerto Rico SBTDC. We are currently a FAST awardee. We have what we like to name the Puerto Rico IDEA Program, Puerto Rico Innovation Development Entrepreneurship Assistance Program.
Thank you. To Linda. You're on mute, to Linda.
My apologies.
No
I'm
problem.
Dr. Talinda Larson. I am president of the Utah Advanced Materials and Advanced Manufacturing Initiative, which was started because we were awarded in 2018 the SBA Regional Innovation Cluster Program to create a cluster in Utah around our advanced materials, which are composites, carbon fiber, and critical minerals. And that is what launched the whole organization. And it's been a fabulous 5 years. Our program ends in January, and I look forward to sharing some of our successes.
Thank you, Dr. Talinda. Jerry.
Hi, Jerry Hollister, BBC Entrepreneurial Training and Consulting. We are a recipient of both a Growth Accelerator Fund Award and also a FAST awardee. So we are a SBIR, STTR assistance program, and we serve clients all across the country.
Thank you. Now, Jerry, I want to start with you because you guys have both the Growth Accelerator and the FAST. How, as far as your implementation of helping entrepreneurs, how do they differ?
Sure. No, it's a great. It's a great question. So for FAST, we are specific to Michigan. We were the Michigan recipient, and our program in Michigan serves women innovators, minority-owned companies, and they're in a rural area of Michigan. Then we have a specific program where we're sending these, applicants that are trying to apply to SBIR that's in one of those three underserved groups can apply to our program, and then they get a variety of services through our SBDC in Michigan, and then some other partners that we work with from the Detroit area that really helps them along the process of applying to SBIR, STTR. As part of that, we have a pitch competition where there's cash awards for that, for those in Michigan. The Growth Accelerator Fund is actually a continuation from 2 years ago when BBC ETC won one of the 8 Catalyst Awards. And back in 2021, 2022, we stood up what we call the Catalyst Advantage Network for Women. And this serves women-owned companies anywhere in the country that are trying to go to apply to SBIR, STTR, and we provide additional training and our support services, what we do is we help anybody that's trying to apply to SBIR, STTR. That's what our firm does. And then we've also partnered with a group out of Minneapolis that came out of the Mayo Clinic. It's a woman-owned investment fund that because they work with women-owned founders, they discovered that women entrepreneurs faced similar challenges. So they stood up a 4-week training course called Leader to Launch. The group is called Capita 3, excuse me. And so we provide a scholarship to go to this really intensive, very effective training course for women entrepreneurs. And so those two, there's some overlap because Michigan, if you're a woman innovator from Michigan, you could apply to both. But anywhere in the country, women innovators could, and including our friends down in Puerto Rico as well, any of the territories, can apply to the program and get those services. Thanks, Eldon.
Thank you, Jerry. Tilly, I'm going to jump to you. Could you tell us about the Regional Innovation Cluster, or the RICS, as we call it at SBA, and exactly how it's implemented in Utah?
So the Regional Innovation Cluster program in Utah was, again, as I started to say, was created to bring together the businesses that are in advanced materials. Utah has led the nation out in composites and carbon fiber, having some of the foundational companies here. They are large companies. They're two major companies. But from those two companies, there has been a spin-off of much smaller companies in this marketplace of using composites and carbon fiber, such as in aircraft and outdoor rec products, such as bicycles and skis, and also in medical devices, such as feet. Actually, we're known in Utah for uh, prosthetic feet. And so the first step we had, again, I said we were awarded in 2018, and the first step was to create the cluster, to go out and find the companies, which was what we did in 2019, and we created a software tool to have called Connects, which is a marketplace where vendors can find each other. So companies, large and small, put their profile into Connects, and then it's very searchable. So from Utah at that time, now Connects is in 22 states and also used by the National Association of Manufacturers. That's all thanks to the Regional Innovation Cluster program. So then once we had it built and we rolled it out in 2019, then we spent 2020 populating, getting the companies to get into Connects. But of course, everything changed in
Right.
about March of
Yeah, right.
yeah, exactly. So then our focus turned. Fortunately, we had our companies identified and located, and we started to communicate with them. So we were able to really pivot and help these small businesses through the very difficult times of the COVID pandemic. So, in addition to small business support through just technical advising, we go in and help the companies with technical advising, business advising. We also very closely work with the FAST in Utah, called the Utah Governor's Office of Innovation, on STTRs, helping them with STTRs, SBIRs. We also have a entrepreneur accelerator program called RAMP, where we've brought businesses in and helped these entrepreneurs to launch their product and get them into the market. So our successes, again, as I said, it was a 5-year grant and it ends in January. The total commitment of the federal government was $2 million. And we have been able to realize 50 million in new capital flowing to 180, not all 180, but we ended up having 180 small businesses in our cluster, which is phenomenal. That's an incredible ROI from
Right.
2 million to 50 million. We also have, through this program, supported these small businesses in just about 100 patents for new technologies, and we created 700 jobs. So it's been an incredibly successful program, and so successful that in 2021, the governor's office recognized the advanced manufacturing industry as one of the 5 targeted industries for the state of Utah.
Thank you. That's amazing. Now, Keisla, I want to go to you. We had a little bit about FAST from Jerry. One of the unique positions that your organization is in is that you're also a small business development center. So talk about how that has been, I guess, incorporated in order to really execute your FAST grant.
For the Center for Innovation and Technology and for the SBDC, the FAST program leverages what we offer at the center. I do have to say that without the FAST program, we would not be able to serve as many entrepreneurs as we do with that funding. Now, in Puerto Rico, we hadn't received this fund since 2015. So it had been about roughly 8 years that it was not here. And once we received it, it leveraged the assistance that we were able to provide. Now, our program works with three different phases. The first one is capacity building, the second one is technical assistance, and then the last one, we offer that one on one mentoring where you should be able to write the grant and we should be able to submit it. What's important and how it leverages our program is the fact that we are able to have those resources that help the entrepreneurs that we would not be able to get otherwise without this program. And we're able to, for example, we work with Jerry, also with BBC ETC. They help our entrepreneurs, and we were able to reach out more. Now, we divide our program with different cohorts. So in Puerto Rico, honestly, we are not, our SBIRs were bottom 10 at the moment. So this is the importance of the program for us and how it has helped us just to get better at these numbers, because the first cohort we received 191 applications, and that's why capacity building is so important, and the fact that we are educating our entrepreneurs about what is innovation. Our population is not very clear here in Puerto Rico what is innovation according to the SBIR program. Now they can determine what is innovation according to other programs,
Right.
not what is to the SBIR program. So that was our first mission when we noticed that we had received 191 applications and we could not accept anyone to the program. And we evolved to a point that this is our third and last year. We're very sad about that, but we are going to, hopefully, we're going to renew the program. And we have right now, with the help of, like I said, different partners like BBC Tech and other mentors that we have been able to get through the program. And we have right now 6 entrepreneurs that we are ready to submit. Now, that is a big number for us in the past years, and how the program has grown from the beginning. From we started with capacity building, and after we educated our population about what is innovation according to these programs, people are now more aware of what are the requirements to be able to submit for these programs. So the FAST program and the SBDCs, I would say it just leverages everything that we do.
Right. Thank you, Keishla. Now, one of the things you really specify was that innovation and understanding of innovation. That really goes into a lot of things that entrepreneurs need to be made aware of when it comes to getting support from federal programs. I'm glad you really spoke on that. Tulinda, could you talk about some of the things that entrepreneurs, innovators need to be aware of and need to be made aware of when they come to work with you?
When they come to work with us, we often reach out to them. We do on-site visits, and we sit down with the company, and we go through, tell us how we can help. And then we help to identify resources that we can bring. The number one problem that I see for small businesses in this space of leading out with technology and innovation is knowing what is available to support. And I have to say, I'm excited about this move that SBA has done to put the Regional Innovation Cluster Program underneath the Office of Investment and Innovation, because it really has been very helpful to have a focus on finance. So we sit down, we find out what their technical needs are, what their some of their operational needs. We are also part of the Utah MEP, which is the Manufacturing Extension Program. So we're able to point and bring in the assets of the other alliance partners, such as the training that can help them with the Impact Utah, with the healthcare and other benefits that can be offered through the association known as the Utah Manufacturers Association, through helping them get their product into an international market with our relationship with the World Trade Center. So we seek these companies, we've identified them, and we are getting, so our as I said, the first thing was find them, the second thing was engage with them, and now we really are into a deep relationship with these 180 companies here in Utah in advanced materials and advanced manufacturing. One big benefit also of the SBA RIC program is having this deep contact and relationship with these small businesses. We've been able to leverage to other programs, such as the FAST SBI STTR programs. We're also been able to create a program in the state called the Manufacturing Modernization Grant Program, where the state has a $10 million program to help with automation of small businesses to better compete on a global market. So when I've been talked to Allison and others in OII, we call that the but for. So, but for the Regional Innovation Cluster Program, we would not have had a vehicle to be able to bring these small businesses into these really exciting programs like the Manufacturing Modernization Grant Program. And there's also another one called Return to Work, where we're helping to bring new Americans. New Americans are immigrants and refugees that have engineering background into these small businesses, help them find workforce, and other programs like that. While those programs are funded by other sources than the RIC, but for the RIC, these small businesses would not have had access to them.
Understood. Thank you, Talinda. Now, Jerry, Talinda brought up some very good points as far as some of the service they provide and the businesses that they assist. Could you talk about some of the entrepreneurs that you're seeing, and maybe in your case particularly, is there an overlap between the Growth Accelerator and the FAST as far as the sort of entrepreneurs that you're seeing, or are they in general totally different?
Yeah, so generally speaking, the groups that we find or that are applying to our Growth Accelerator Fund program, which we call Women Can, Catalyst Advantage Network. So the Women Can program, generally those companies are a bit further along in their journey, their SBIR journey. They've gotten a company form. They pretty much have an idea. They pretty much have had at least one agency that they've identified that they want to apply to, and they're trying to figure out how to apply. And that's where we come in. We can support them. We send them to the Capita 3 leader launch to kind of supercharge them. And then, we work with them to really help equip them to, have a compelling proposal. The FAST applicants, again, generally speaking, tend to be a little bit earlier. Some of them don't have their company formed yet. Some of them do, and some of them are kind of further along. But we've found a number of the groups in Michigan that are a little bit earlier. And so we like I mentioned, our FAST program does work collaboratively with the SBDC here in Michigan, and the SBDC helps, just like they do down in Puerto Rico, help those early stage companies just figure out how do you get formed and get registered and all those kinds of things that that are so important from the SBDC services. So we're seeing, again, generally speaking, the FAST applicants are a little bit earlier stage, and the Growth Accelerator companies are maybe a little bit further along. So, yeah.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you. Now, Keshla, what sort of first-time assistant or services or assistance are you seeing that more and more of your applicants need when it comes to SBIR TTR?
Grant writing. Oh my God, do they need help? And I think everybody agreed they need help with grant writing. That's the first thing they ask me. How do I write a grant? What do I do? Which are the first steps to take? I always tell them, this is your baby. So you know your baby more than anybody out there. You have to write that grant first, and then we will revise it for you. Okay, so to me, grant writing is the first step for them. That's the main assistance we get. Like I said, BBC Tech helps us out there with specialized grant writers. I'm a grant writer myself. Obviously, we don't know everything. So when I need that assistance, I go to somebody who has a specialty either in the DO program or defense. So I go to somebody specific in that area.
Sometimes what we've done is, again, using the FAST program to get the SBIR, STTR submitted, and then they win it. And it's a lot like a dog catching the truck, right? Now that they have it, what do they do? What are all these
Right.
requirements? And, it's when you read what you're signing to receive the grant, it's IP, it's reporting, and it's pretty onerous. So we have also helped our companies on the backside of once they've won it. Sometimes they retain us actually, but most of our services are free that we just help to review and help them and keep them in compliance.
Thank you. Now, I'm going to pose this one to Jerry before we head off to question and answer with the audience in a few minutes. But what do you see outside of grant writing? Because obviously that's going to be the biggest thing. What do you see as the biggest obstacle a lot of organizations have when they come to you?
Yeah, and I want to just kind of add on to what Keishla and Talinda said about grant writing, because I think there's a lot of times confusion about what grant writing and what grant writing is versus kind of a support like what we provide. We don't generate content, and I don't think most people do. I agree with Keishla 100%. It's their baby; they need to know it. And I found that there's grant writers out there, but they really it takes their grant writers are great if you're doing a playground for your local school, but for technical writing, it takes so long for a quote unquote grant writer to get up to speed that the company could have written it by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's this the latest trend is to try to use ChatGPT or one of these other large language models to generate content, and there's a lot of danger in doing that. If nothing else, they could be releasing their intellectual property into the wild. Mm-hmm. But back to your question, the biggest thing I think that the challenge that I see for most innovators is that they're so head down, focused on their technical development that they don't think about the commercial applications, because SBIR, STTR, they are they're product development programs. You have to have a product. This is a jobs program. This is economic development, and I think they wait too long to try to validate that there is really a market opportunity for their product, and they try to focus on because they got this wonderful idea. They think it's going to solve this problem, but they don't actually ask anybody. And that's probably the biggest thing, is that they don't start early enough to figure out what the product market fit is and whether there really is an opportunity to sell this widget or product or service or whatever it is that they're developing. It really could be a transformational product, but they need to figure that out by asking a lot of people. And I know that's where the I-Corps program has come in and help train these innovators to do that. But that's probably the biggest thing that I see. And then because they're so focused, they need to get some outside, somebody to read their proposal as well.
Right.
I always also reach out to the project managers. We help them in Puerto Rico SBDC. We connect them directly. I remember being at the Tech Connect World and from the NSF bench track, I remember saying, get that quick no. We will not make you go through this entire process, which is long and it requires a lot of effort. Contact the project managers. Go to, like we do, we contact you with them. We will prepare those meetings for you. We will connect you with them. Get that quick no, get it out of the way. Don't do all the work and then have it not work.
It's a great point.
Right.
Before you go to the questions and answers, I do want to add another real strong benefit from the Regional Innovation Cluster Program is networking. We have many networking events where we bring these 180 companies together, and with government, with academia, with the large OEMs. And there's that dynamic interaction between the companies that has resulted in so many instances when two of the companies end up working together for a new product or enhancing an existing product. So one of our biggest networking event, we did a barbecue, just an informal barbecue this summer, and we had 5 or 6 of the companies did some presentations, but we are still getting from that barbecue people saying, well, yeah, at the barbecue I met so and so and I was able to have them make my part, or there were we joined together and there's my part is now on their whatever. So getting the opportunity to work to meet other entrepreneurs in your space is another big benefit of the Regional Innovation Cluster Program.
Yeah, networking is always key, I say. Now, I want a couple questions. Tony, I want to stick with you. Are you only Utah based as far as the companies you assist? Are you only
Yes.
in Utah? Okay, because that was one of the
Yes.
questions. I know that Kesha spoke about, especially with FAST, same thing with Jerry and Growth Sellers. There was some outside of that territory component, but there were some questions about whether or not
Yeah.
uh,
We
you
only serve Utah companies, but
okay.
we help Utah companies um, participate on the national and global stage. And by that I mean, again, but for the RIC program, we were able to introduce the STEP grant program that's operated by the World Trade Center here, another SBA program, to our small businesses to help them go to global conferences and be able to sell on a national and a global stage.
Okay. Now, just to well, I'll read this question because I think I kind of know the answer based on the panel, but we have a participant who's basically she's founding a response to urgent housing needs of mentally ill individuals in Milwaukee, dedicated to addressing homelessness by delivering permanent supportive housing and lifelong solutions, fostering self-sufficiency while promoting independence. My question is, what financial uh, monetary resources are available for programs like mine, and how do businesses like mine maximize the support? So
So
she's go ahead, Jerry.
yeah, so I know that the Center for Technology, CTC in Wisconsin has a FAST award, and they do support if the technology they're developing in Milwaukee there is related to or could be eligible for SBIR, STTR, then they should contact CTC. I don't have the website off the top of my head, but SBIR.gov website would have a link to the FAST awardee there in Wisconsin, and that's I would suggest that they and they have micro grants there for companies, so there would be very little out of pocket for the company as long as they make an application. So
Right.
Utah, our governor's office also helps. If you go for a phase one, you can get $3,000 towards your proposal writing. If you go for a phase two, it's 5 or 6,000. Again, that's not run under the RIC program, but that's under the FAST program that's run by our governor's office.
yeah,
Thank you. Hope that helps. Let's see. Okay. Is there a listing of email contacts for accelerators and regional hubs? David, you can actually go to SBI.gov. We have a local resources locator tool where you can find information on FAST organizations, accelerators, regional hubs. All that will be listed by state. There's a drop down, you pick your state, and everything is there. Okay, I have a comment from Kelly Wyndham, who is also a FAST awardee. Just a comment she had based on the discussion. Biggest problem I see is clients' ability to read and follow instructions because they may be an expert in a such a specific area. They tend to think they're the experts in everything. So it
here,
goes with
here,
Jerry
Kelly,
said. It
second the
goes with
motion.
right. It goes with Jerry said. Get other people to read what you're writing. Okay. Do Jerry and Kessler help companies in other states? Kessler, you are focused just in Puerto Rico, correct?
Yes, I am just focused in Puerto Rico.
Yes. And Jerry, I know your women focused program is in other states. Could you tell me which states it is nationwide?
Yeah, any of the
Okay.
states and territories. We
Okay.
just, obviously, if you're in Canada, you're not eligible for SBIR, but or Mexico, but anywhere in the U.S., we're taking. 2 years ago, we had applicants from all 50 states and Puerto Rico. So, yeah,
Thank you.
anywhere.
Again, we got one last question from Susan. What are metrics you use to determine risk or de-risking ventures, and how is capacity evaluated?
Boy. Well, that's a individual. That's really what.
Agency question, I would say, because it varies according to the agency. You have
Right.
11 participating agencies, so they would have to determine. So it's according to the agency, to the
Yeah, and
participating agency.
and or technology, right? The capacity for somebody doing software development is very, or the capacity needs and capital needs are very different from somebody that's building a widget for
Mhm.
Department of Defense, for example. I mean, those are radically different. So it really is dependent on, as Keishla said, the agency that they're applying to, the technology they're developing. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say in general, the ESOs not looking at risk because they're not the ones that are going to be funding these organizations. That is definitely going to come down from the agency, and the agency is going to look at that
Mhm.
aspect of the organization. And usually that happens after, like, if they've been recommended for an award, especially SBI or
Yeah.
STTR. So that's
Read
something that's down the pipe from in that decision.
It's very important to read the solicitation.
Yes.
What do they want? A lot of people that want to apply, they have not read the solicitation. And I keep giving them this homework. I said, that's the first thing you're going to do. Read the solicitation. What is it that they want specifically? And that's your guideline. People do not read those solicitations.
Thank you. We have a great question from someone who we all know, Allison Evans. Start with you, Jerry. What's next for your organization? For each of your organizations, are there any specific 2024 goals or initiatives? And I'll start with you, Jerry.
Yeah, well, we've been operating nationwide for several years in all 11 agencies of SBIR STTR. We've continued to expand our capabilities beyond SBIR STTR to other federal funding sources, R&D sources like CDMRP, BARDA, ARPA, the ARPA E, ARPA H. So that's really where we're continuing to expand, and we really are trying to not just be the application assistance program for the, like what Talinda said. They get their phase one, and now they're the dog that caught the car. Now what?
Mhm.
So we try to, we have services that will take these companies all the way through their phase one award, post award, into phase two, and then once they're into phase two, how do you start introducing them to investors, and really the MEPs or what other partners they need to really make it to commercialization, commercial success. So we're not just that early kind of phase zero application assistance program. We do that, but we're trying to be a full service hub for entrepreneurs that will take them all the way along that whole process.
Thank you, Jerry. To Linda.
Well, unfortunately, our Regional Innovation Cluster program ends on January 15th. We are optimistic that the next request for proposals on RIC will include nonprofits. We were awarded as a nonprofit in 2018, then it changed that since this is a small business set aside, that the RICs have been small businesses, not nonprofits. So hopefully that does change with this next request for proposals. If not, we are in a position now that the state legislature has provided an appropriation so we can continue our services. They've done it now as an interim because I said I'm hopeful that we can get the program back through SBA by the end of the year. But if not, we have the state appropriation so we can keep doing exactly what we've been doing, because it's been so beneficial to our small businesses in advanced materials and advanced manufacturing in Utah.
Thank you, Linda. Keishla.
So what we're going to do for 2024 is the SBDC initially only served the SBIR program through through the Center of Innovation and Technology, and we decided that we're going to expand our services to other types of technologies. Also through the FAST program, even though we finish in September, we're also hoping to renew. We are going to expand the services and have what I would like to call a one-stop where you can get everything, and we're working with investors, so we will take you from the beginning to the end. So if you don't know where to go, we will have those investors for you. We're working with different organizations that work with our Act 60 decree law here in Puerto Rico, so they can help our entrepreneurs. We're working with other investors, so we're taking them through those processes, and hopefully that's something that we're looking at. And just so they know, you start with us, you can finish with us. It's not that we're going to send you off and you have to keep working by yourself. No, we will work with you.
Thank you. Now, Keishla, I want to stay with you with this next question. This will probably be some closing comments. When is it best for an entrepreneur to come to seek out your services?
Well, they can come to us at whatever stage they are at of their project, whatever stage. Even I've had clients show up that are just students who are just starting with this little gadget, and they ask me, "Do you serve young entrepreneurs?" I'm like, "Of course I do. I will help you." So we start from that process just very early on. If you don't fit into our program, we will send you through an accelerator to a development program, and then that program knows to send you back to us. So then you come back to us, and we keep helping you develop that idea until you submit that SBR. So it doesn't matter if you are an early stage, if you're a student, if you just have an idea and you know nothing about entrepreneurship, we will help you.
Thank you. To Linda, when's a good time? Well, I know you said you seek out a lot of your companies and a little bit further along, but if someone's coming, when's the right time to come to ask questions?
Anytime.
Okay.
Absolutely anytime. But I guess anytime is off is absolutely true. But the networking sessions also give an opportunity to ask questions. We had one networking session where we had our Utah system of higher education presented all the different workforce programs that are offered by the state for small businesses to participate in. So that was the subject of the networking event, but it ended up that it broke down into companies talking to each other.
Okay. Thank you. Jerry, same question.
Yeah, anytime. Earlier is better, but anytime, wherever they're at in the process, we have partners that can help all the way along the journey.
Okay. Wow. That's amazing. It's been a great panel. Jerry, I'm gonna start with you and go back around. Could you just talk about what are the best next steps for organizations as they go through their entrepreneurial journey, especially when it comes to just seeking funding and advancing their technology even further, whether it's SBIs, TTR, or any other program?
Yeah, no, one thing that I really see entrepreneurs make a mistake on is when they're used to pitching to investors and then they want to go pitch to SBIR. You have to know your audience, because pitching to investors is like 180 degrees out of phase. It's exactly opposite as pitching to SBIR. And what I mean by that is, if you say to an investor, or what you're going to say to an investor is, this is easy stuff, this is not hard, you need to get on board now before everybody else gets on board, and this is it's technical, but there's no risk. If you say that to SBIR, they're not going to be interested. You have to say to SBIR the exact opposite. This is super risky. Nobody wants to touch it. Investors won't invest until we de-risk it, and that's why we need this federal funding. So I think understanding who you're pitching to is vitally important, and they have to target their pitch to the right audience.
Thank you very much. Talinda, any parting words of advice to any budding entrepreneurs out there?
Just go and do it. Don't let anything hold you back. And there is a enormous support system on the state and national level.
Thank you. Kessler, same question.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with Talinda. Seek help. There are a lot of funds out there that you can request. I've had clients that have paid for grant writers $5,000 to $8,000. They don't get the SBIR, and they ask me, "Oh, I did not know that you were available." I'm like, "Well, now you do." So, look, there are a lot of programs who are funding these. You are not alone. You're not by yourself. And what you need, that's what we're here for, to help you through this journey. It doesn't matter if you're starting, it doesn't matter how advanced or accelerated you are.
Thank you. Now, I want everybody to understand that there have been a host of links that have been put into the comments, going to local assistance, more information on the ESOs, SBIR.gov, SBI.gov are perfect places to start to find out more information. All of the LinkedIn contact for all our panelists are on the website itself for the conference. I want to thank everyone for being a part of this today, and just to let everyone know, there are many, many resources out there to assist you with your entrepreneurial journey. A lot of times, all you have to do is just reach out, get on your computer, send an email, and ask questions. And everybody here and everybody we work with are 99.9% of the time very happy to assist you in any way that we can. So never be
At no
afraid.
charge. At no
And
charge.
No
no
charge.
charge, exactly.
No charge.
So
No charge.
never be afraid to ask. Never be afraid to pick up that phone. No question is too out there, especially considering with the three individuals we have here, with the sort of companies they've assisted over the years. There's a lot of technology that they've seen. So no idea is too big. No idea is too small when it comes to the world of innovation. It's all about making a difference, making a change, and commercializing your technology. And that's what we're all here to assist you with.
Yeah. And there's no catch. Because they
Right.
asked me, is there a catch for your services? Why are they free? I was like, there's no catch. The government just wants you to be rich, to make a lot of money. That's it.
Exactly.
Develop a new technology. No catch.
Right. Exactly. Well, I thank you all for your time, and everyone, feel free to reach out if you have any more questions to ask of myself or any of the panelists today.